By the way, let's get Dr. Doug Rockey on today. That's our answer. Nuclear physicists, get him on. Boom. They covered that up and tell the troops it's okay to use, when before 1991 they said it was deadly and the troops couldn't use it. They don't care. They will cover up the magnitude of this. We have seen 2 giant nuclear reactors blow up in spectacular mushroom cloud events. And the media is buying the Japanese government, who's already been caught lying ad nauseum statement that they don't think any radiation's been released. Give me a break. And they are going to sit here and spin this like it's no big deal. Radiation from Fukushima would take 7 days to reach U.S. This is by Paul Joseph Watson on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Prevailing wind conditions would send fallout drifting towards West Coast. Radioactive particles from the stricken Fukushima nuclear facility, you mean the exploding facility, would take around a week to reach Alaska and 11 days to reach Los Angeles, according to AccuWeather analysis, which highlights the fact that prevailing winds over the region would send any potential fallout from the crisis-hit plant drifting towards West Coast cities in the United States. And then we have a Fox News clip with a nuclear physicist saying the same thing, in case you don't want to believe AccuWeather or us. Given the fact that many analysts believe the Japanese government is grossly understating the amount of radioactive particles related to the separate explosions to affect the Fukushima plant, one of which occurred Saturday and the other earlier today, monitoring stations in Alaska will not know if there is a threat from such radiation until Saturday at the earliest. Some estimates I see are 3 to 4 days. An AccuWeather.com analysis highlights how prevailing wind trajectories would take the radiation from a westerly direction. They say westerly, but it's really easterly direction, but towards the west coast of the United States. A typical wind trajectory across the Pacific is westerly. Again, that's generally towards the west, but it circles east. So that's how you can use east or west as the term. But the point is it goes east to west, and we're east of it. A typical wind trajectory across the Pacific is westerly, since there is often a large dome of high pressure over the central Pacific and an area of low pressure in the Gulf of Alaska, writes meteorologist Megan Evans. Today's localized winds are set to carry any radiation out into the Pacific from a northwesterly to southeasterly direction. However, the wind direction will switch to an offshore direction Monday night into Tuesday, threatening to send the radiation towards the population, writes Evans. That's AccuWeather. This is not good news, since a onshore direction would blow most of the radiation towards populated areas. An added threat is that higher elevations, just 4 miles inland from the power plants. If a temperature inversion sets up the atmosphere, radiation could be trapped. Continuing, the worst case scenario is that localized winds could take the fallout south to Tokyo, and the prevailing westerly winds would also carry upper atmospheric particles toward the United States. Now, guys, there's a video in this article, a couple minutes long, from Fox News, in Paul Watson's article titled, "Radiation from Fukushima Would Take 7 Days to Reach U.S." I want to play that video in a moment. Continuing here. Previous studies have documented that dust from Asia, especially from deserts and industrial regions of China, routinely crosses the Pacific Ocean on prevailing winds to sully the air over the western U.S., highlights Massey Santos Ballin, a student in science communication program at the University of California, Santa Cruz. I don't know why we're quoting them. It's well known that Mongolian desert dust blows into Texas every year. The Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory has also studied how about a third of the airborne lead particles recently collected at 2 sites in San Francisco Bay Area came from Asia, from the reactors that don't have scrubbers. Yeah, that's a coal plant study. Weather conditions will hugely influence where any potential radiation falls. If there is a significant amount of rainfall, which has been forecast over the next few days, the majority of the radiation will fall in a localized area, which we hope happens over the ocean. However, drier conditions will allow any radiation to travel much further. As we featured in an earlier report, nuclear expert Joe Cicerone also fears that radiation from the Japanese nuclear plant could also reach the West Coast. when Fox News host Chris Wallace questioned whether radioactivity could travel thousands of miles across the Pacific, he responded, "Oh, absolutely. Chernobyl, which happened about 25 years ago, the radioactivity spread around the entire northern hemisphere. It depends how many of these core meltdowns and how successful they are in containing it once the disaster happens." Once the disaster happens, it's already blown sky high at 2 major reactors. Fukushima number 3, 5 hours ago, blew up, and it was so explosive it formed a mushroom cloud. That's how high it ejected what was inside that facility. I mean, it's a huge superpower explosion inside the reactor. What do you think's going on? And I'm trying to be calm here. I am just sick and tired of the media Friday and Saturday saying, oh, there's no meltdown, there's nothing happening. No, there was just all these radioactive isotopes being picked up all over Japan and off the coast. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now, again, I am very fired up here because I'm working behind the scenes. Conservative estimates are 100 to 400 times the amount of radiation was released from Chernobyl in 1986 in the Ukraine outside Kiev than was released at Hiroshima individually or Nagasaki. 100 to 400 times. Wikipedia says 300 to 400, correct? We'll put that on screen. And I don't normally trust Wikipedia, but they have a link to a university study. So we'll put that on screen for folks. Now, that's the issue. Nukes don't put off anywhere near the radiation an actual nuclear bomb or warhead compared to a reactor. Reactors are dirty when they melt down. Now, the issue here is Fukushima 1 and 3 have blown sky high. There's 4 more reactors inside the Fukushima facility there on the northeast coast of Japan. Do you read me, ladies and gentlemen? Undoubtedly, they were already having meltdown problems at the others. What do you think another plant inside the facility blowing up is going to do? Hell on earth is the headline from the London Guardian. Chernobyl was the world's worst environmental disaster 20 years on. John Vidal reports on the cleanup, the false medical records, the government cover-up, the communities that refuse to leave, and the continuing cost on the people of the planet. For the next 10 days, Chernobyl spewed the equivalent of 400 Hiroshima bombs worth of radioactivity across 150,000 square miles of Europe and beyond. And it goes over it. 20 years ago today, a Ukrainian radio engineer was horrified when reactor number 4 at Chernobyl nuclear power complex exploded, caught fire, and for the next 10 days spewed the equivalent of 400 Hiroshima bombs worth of radioactivity across 150,000 square miles of Europe and beyond. Now, that's the London Guardian. I am that DeCurt. He's doing a story on this right now. Yeah, that was in 2006 that they reported on that. Now, on the 1986 Chernobyl event. Now, that's the news. The big issue is they tried to lie and say 1 didn't melt down. Now they admitted it melted down, but they're playing down the radioactive fallout. Now 3 has blown up. 3 has now exploded. 3 has now gone sky high, thousands of feet in the air with the guts of the reactor. You see the containment facility blow out. That's white and gray. Then you see the black equipment shooting up like a projectile, classic total meltdown, out of the middle like a bullet out of a gun, thousands of feet in the air and then raining back down and blowing out to sea towards the United States East Coast.
Look, officials had warned.
I mean, this is out of control. Now, 400 times at Chernobyl, what one of the A-bombs, the radiation an A-bomb put out, dropped on Japan in 1945. Now, while we're talking, I'm going to show you footage shot hours after Chernobyl blew up. Much smaller explosion, just the roof blown off and a fire. Look at that. Now, that's the explosion, and witnesses that saw it said that it was a big plume of smoke, but nothing compared to what happened at the reactors in Japan. And the media is trying to play this down. Now, in highly educated Europe, the Drudge Report has mainstream news articles up about Europeans clearing the shelves of iodine and potassium iodide. They are clearing the shelves of it in Europe. And Europe, it has to go over all of North America first before it even gets here. They're going to get a lot less than we're going to get. But they are highly educated and aren't stupid. And Drudge and others are reporting that people are cleaning the shelves in Europe. My wife went to the grocery store today and was laughed at, because that's American wisdom now. Laugh at precautions. Laugh at being informed. Look at Fukushima 3 blowing up there on screen. And it's in Paul Watson's article, Nuclear Expert, Radiation Could Spread to U.S. West Coast. This is confirmed by AccuWeather, by Fox News, by countless meteorologists, radiologists, nuclear physicists. It's all buried in the news. But I guarantee you there's people listening to me right now laughing, going, oh, Alex said they melted down. Ha ha, he was right again. Alex said gold was going to go from 260 to 1,400. It did. Ha ha, he's right again. He's bad. He's a fearmonger. He's bad. Oh, look at the nuclear plants blowing up in mushroom clouds. It's no big deal. It's only 400 times. During the break, someone's going to let you in on some behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm talking to Kurt Nimmo, I'm talking to Paul Watson, I'm talking to Steve Watson, and I've got them all writing articles, because a lot of times I call and give them the data, send them the links, ask them to do more research, put it together, and they're saying, okay, exactly what do you want? I want all three of you from different perspectives, whatever angle you see with your own mind, to explain this to people. There are 6 reactors at Fukushima. 2 of them have blown sky high. Number 3 in unbelievably spectacular fashion with a mushroom cloud, thousands of feet in the air, ejecting what is clearly the guts of the reactor into the air. Do you know what that means? Massive uranium fallout. Cesium was picked up Friday. It was picked up yesterday. Radioactive iodine. They lied and said it wasn't a meltdown. Now they're admitting it was a meltdown Saturday. This was clearly a mega meltdown today at Fukushima number 3. There are 4 more reactors. Headline, chain reaction underway at Fukushima plants. Cover-up of chain reaction at Fukushima plants underway. If Friday and Saturday they were fighting for their lives to keep them from melting down, what do you think's going to happen now in the middle of 6 reactors close to each other with 2 of them blowing up? Blowing up. And the media is now saying, well, it was a nitrogen or a hydrogen explosion, and yeah, there's some radiation. It was 6 miles, 20, 60 miles. Yeah, they're covering it up. And they were laughing at us, the media was Saturday, saying fallout could hit the West Coast. Now it's AccuWeather, it's Fox News, it's mainstream, but they're just calmly reporting, yeah, some fallout. Ladies and gentlemen, Chernobyl was small compared to these reactors. And it released, according to the London Guardian and the Atomic Energy Agency, 400 times the A-bomb. Was it Hiroshima or Nagasaki? Hiroshima, correct? I've got all this data in front of me. The point is 400 times one of the A-bombs. Does that give you an idea? 400 times. And it was small compared to this. That's what I'm saying. And the same thing happened with Russia. For weeks, Russia covered up the full extent of it. I'm telling you, there is a cover-up going on here. And I'm sure the media will write articles, even though we have all the data, saying, oh, there's no cover-up. I mean, here's Think Progress, funded by George Soros, today, saying, note, Real Alex Jones on Twitter, conspiracy website, also has a permanent link on Drudge. Question for media, why do you continue to revere and rely on Drudge when he's promoting conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones? Question, why are you linking to conspiracy theorists for perspective on Japanese nuke crisis? Why does Drudge link to us? Because Infowars.com is bigger than MSNBC and GlenBeck.com combined, pal. Because we call things. We break news. We know what we're talking about. We called the meltdown at Fukushima 1 before anybody else did. Because when I see a giant containment facility completely blow up, like a 100,000-pound bomb got dropped on it, I'll assure you there's going to be fallout and radiation when it was already leaking everywhere Friday. When cesium and radioactive iodine are being released, it means that there is a meltdown taking place. That's a fact in the books. When it then blows sky high, what do you think's going on when it's already leaking?